Excited about the season reward skin? And what if I told you that Guinevere is getting legend skin and Ruby a collector skin? Yes, and like that many other rewards and events are upcoming. Hi guys, Kazuki here, and in this video we have brought to you some amazing news that would make you jump your seat right now. So without further ado, let's dive into the update with the hero adjustments. First is the Ling buff. Apart from your favorite picks, Ling was nowhere to be seen in the recent draft. His passive was big changes. It no longer gets a 15% crit chance at the start of the game. However, he now gains double the crit chance from all sources. So Berserker Fury is now an even more important item to him. He can also easily hit 100% crit chance now. His skill 1 is adjusted. The cooldown is increased by a massive 10 seconds. Energy cost is reduced by 5. Extra crit chance is decreased by 2.5% in the late game. Skill 2 is buffed. Base damage is increased by 70 points in the early game and 95 points in the late game. His ultimate is buffed and has a new effect. When Ling touches the Tempest of Blades, the cooldown of French Poise is reduced by 4 seconds. Melissa is still getting optimized even after release. Her passive damage is reduced by 25%. She now deals increased damage to creep. Jungle Melissa is viable. Skill 2 is getting loads of adjustments. The damage transfer is increased by 5%. The mana cost is increased by 25 on the early game. There is a new effect where models can link summoned units. Damage to linked heroes is reduced by 10%. Damage to linked summoned units is increased by 37.5%. Damage to creeps is increased by 25%. And damage to minions and unlinked summoned units is decreased by 25%. Her ultimate is buffed. Melissa now gains more physical and magic defense when ultimate isn't activated. There is a new effect. The fill will move with Melissa once she touches the boundary of it. So total it can move twice, once when she touches the boundary and second when she uses skill 2. The developers say the changes to Guinevere were too controversial, so she is getting balanced. Her passive has a brand new effect. When Guinevere's energy wave and enhanced basic attack hits a target, they will apply a mark. You can apply up to 3 marks and each mark lasts 4 seconds. Enemies with maximum marks will be knocked airborne when she uses her ultimate. So you don't need to connect skill 2 first before using ultimate. Just mark them and boom, airborne. However, the healing effect from enhanced basic attack is removed. The cooldown reduction of skill 1 from enhanced basic attack is also removed. Her skill 1 is buffed. She now recovers HP upon successful skill hits. The previous buff to Wanwan has received a lot of positive feedback. So guess what? The developers are buffing her more now. Her physical attack growth is increased by 3 points. Her passive extra damage per weakness hit is reduced by 12%. So total 36% extra damage now when all marks are hit instead of 45. Her ultimate duration is increased by 0.5 seconds. Additionally, Wanwan can now cast her ultimate while jumping. Valentina is getting some nerfs. Her extra experience from passive is reduced by 7 at early levels but remains the same at higher levels. The lifesteal effect is also reduced by 14 at the early levels but stays the same towards the higher levels. Her skill 1 base damage is buffed. It is increased by 50 points in the early game but remains the same in the late game. Johnson is getting even more buff. The developers say they want it easier for Johnson to stack damage on his skill 2. That's right, damage on tanks. His skill 1 is adjusted. His base damage is reduced by 20 points plus 50% of physical defense at all levels. His skill 2 however is getting more massive buff. Damage from magic power is increased by 20%. His maximum stakes are reduced by 2. Extra damage per stake is increased by 5%. Now additionally he deals 50% increased damage to creeps. Jungle Johnson too. Olus is getting nerfed. His late game was too strong. His physical attack is reduced by 9 points. Floryn is getting buffs. They are buffing her healing capabilities. Her skill 1 base HP regen is increased by 25 points in the early game, and her ultimate base HP regen is increased by 50 points in the late game. Mia. That's right, Mia is getting a buff. An issue has been fixed where her damage didn't scale with the skill level. Now she will deal a lot more damage. However, base damage to primary target is reduced by 25 points towards the late game. Lancelot is getting nerfed. His base damage is reduced by 25 points in the early game and 50 points in the late game. Martis is getting more buffs. His skill 2 damage has been increased. The first 3 attacks now deal an additional 50 plus 25% physical attack as damage, while the 4th attack deals an additional 100 plus 50% physical attack at all levels. Zhask has been adjusted. The developers say they want it easier to deal with the franchised nightmare spawn, which Zhask leaves when he dies. So his passive is adjusted. An issue is fixed where the spawn wouldn't attack enemy heroes. Optimized the targeting of Mind Eater cast by Nightmare Spawn, and it now has a new effect. The franchised Nightmare Spawn will be lost a part of its HP every 0.5 seconds. Balric is nerfed. His base HP is reduced by 200 points. However, the HP growth is increased by 20 points. His passive damage is slightly reduced. The taunting duration of ultimate is now reduced by 0.5 seconds. Gatot Kacha is getting some of his buffs reverted. His skill 1 no longer deals double damage to minions. The control duration of his skill 2 is reduced by 0.5 seconds. His ultimate cooldown is reduced by 6 seconds at early game and 4 seconds at late game. Hilda is still getting more buff. The dash distance of skill 2 is increased and the skill casting performance is optimized. Alpha, another name you thought you would hear, is getting a small buff. His ultimate width is increased and the landing point now properly matches with the skill indicator. Minotaur is getting a small buff. His skill 1 in the non-raged state when connects enhances the basic attack of Minotaur for the next 3 seconds, dealing extra damage. Atlas is also buffed. His ultimate second attack's damage has his damage from magic power increased by 60%. Lastly, more buffs to Masha. An issue with the skill 1 is fixed where she couldn't land crit hits. Skill 2 can now damage to minions is passes through. Moving on to some battlefield changes now. Blade armor is nerfed. It now costs 400 golds more to craft. However, it gets a new attribute that is 20% crit damage reduction, which was once a part of Twilight armor. Its passive is nerfed more. The bonus damage reflected is further reduced by 5%. Cursed helmet got a little too much buff, so it's nerf time. Damage from the burning soul is reduced by 0.5% maximum HP. Twilight armor is nerfed too. Damage is slightly reduced by 1% of maximum HP. Horse claw is getting a buff. The lifesteal is increased by 5%. Lastly, The Guardian helmet is nerfed. HP regen in battle is slightly reduced. Moving to the upcoming section. We have a Khufra's new gentleman thieves painted skin.
Let's see what's beneath these bandages.
And we can also see Esmeralda's Lady Thief painted skin paired with Khufra's skin. Couples, how do you feel about this pair? We will get Masha's spirited Gauntlet skin as a season 23 reward. And yes, it will be free. People above Master will be able to claim it. If you want to see in-game skill effects, click the link on the top right corner. Magic Chase Commander Remy will get 3 new skins.
Are you ready to lose with style? Are you ready to lose with style?
Well, we'll get new action emote for him that you guys will be able to get by recharge task on the 15th of March. Moving to the survey section. We have Estes Blacklist International Skin Survey, and this skin will be amazing. You guys can already tell it by the survey. We also have the survey of tiny little commander Selena, and she certainly looks really cute. I don't know how I feel about this little commander too, but apart from that, I like how they designed the rest. There's a good news for Roger Phantom Pirate skin users. This skin will soon be revamped. I think this skin will add a fresh and enhanced look to Roger's Phantom Pirate skin. Ruby's collector skin is upcoming, and here is an update of her wallpaper. It's unfinished and there's more polishing to be done. Edith will also get a new skin, and according to my guess, it will be epic skin for her. There are also 2 surveys of Joe Head's new skin, and from the 2, I prefer the second one more. Guinevere will get the next legend skin, and here's a sneak peek of her unfinished wallpaper. You usually know which hero will get the skin just by looking at the adjustments. Floryn will be getting one more new skin. And we also have an update on the new hero. Here is his unfinished wallpaper. We have an update on the head icons of Masha's Spirited Gauntlet, Balman's Bioroid, and Diggy's Fairy Tale skin. Balman Bioroid will be the Starlight skin for April. Here is the new skin for Aman and splash art of the skin. Here is a new recall animation of the revamped Akai, and I'm just out of the words. Lastly, we have assets of Dairo's Venom Cobra skin draw, some more assets of 515 event, and like a post-credit scene, we have something ancient coming. See you next time. Thank you for watching. Keep supporting Kazuki Official.